Hello, my fellow mom bosses and momtrepreneurs and homeschool moms and all around amazing moms. Happy Mother's Day. I know we're a few days behind, but hey, I don't record on Sundays. So anyway, we're going to talk about how to go on vacation as a momtrepreneur, because last week I did not post a coffee chat because I was on vacation. And so I wanted to share what we did, because this is a momtrepreneur coffee chat. And, if you're inspire you to plan your next epic vacation with your family. So moms, if you are new to the show, I am Jody the mom from lifeunboxed.blog. I am a homeschool mom of 6. Yes, I've birthed them all, and their ages, they range from 2 to 16. So I truly run the gambit. I have a high schooler, middle schooler, elementary schoolers, and toddler. So we are in the middle of it all. So this is what I like to call the Momtrepreneur Life Coffee Chat, and is where we pull back the curtain on life as a momtrepreneur. And I have a hair on my arm, goodness gracious. We pull back the curtain on life as a momtrepreneur, and we just get real. So it's unscripted. Most of the time it's unedited, but sometimes the baby's screaming in the background and I still have a hair on me. Okay, I got it. And so we have to just pause. But before we get into that, I also want to remind you to check out this week's show and last week's show. And I'm kind of burnt on a Tuesday because I'm catching up and I can't remember the names of the shows. All right, I'm gonna look real quick. So yep, that's what happens. Oh, whoops, I didn't want to click off. All right, let's try that again. Anyway, we'll figure it out later. Okay, so last week's show, I'm just still clicking off, was the Wild Ride of Momtrepreneurs, the secret to my success. And this week's show was what to do for summer, of course, sanity saving tips. So I got a few moms together and I asked them to give me their best advice for summer, because we are about to finish school this week. So because we had the big C back in February and we have to do so many days for attendance, not everyone is finishing at the same time, because some kids took more days off because they were sick and others didn't get sick. Anyway, so let's do this. Let's grab our coffee, and my mug this week is I like my coffee on the dark side in honor of May the 4th, even though that was last week. Grab your coffee, throw your hair up. If you're as exhausted as I am right now, we're in good company. That's the only thing with vacation. It's really hard to come back because there's going to be a bunch of stuff. Okay, anyway. Let's click on here. Okay, so we took a 13-hour car ride because I wanted to go to the beach, or because not all of my kids have seen the ocean. Only the 2 oldest have actually ever been to the ocean. And for me, as someone who grew up around water, I did not realize how much I missed being around water until I was landlocked. And we have these little ponds, it's not even worth mentioning. So I picked the closest beach. So there were some criteria. I wanted to go to a beach. We had to be able to drive there in a day. Yeah, so those were actually the 2. And there had to be other fun things to do because we weren't going to spend our whole time at the beach. So San Antonio was a 13-hour drive. and the beach was only another 2 hours. So I figured, and we went to Corpus Christi. So I figured we could stay in San Antonio because they have Six Flags. They have a whole bunch of stuff there. So we could get there in a day, 13-hour day, and I will tell you about that. And we'd have a lot to do, and we could still go to the ocean. So when you're planning a trip, and I'm telling you all of this because this trip was like 2 years in the making because we needed to save our money, figure out where we wanted to go, and then just figure out the time on the road and all of that good stuff. So as a momtrepreneur and an independent contractor, more than likely you're not getting paid vacation time unless you have very generous people that you work with. So, and that's why I always say work with good clients. Don't waste your time with bad ones. Just work with good ones. But you need to make sure, since yours is unpaid vacation, that your budget while you're away for that vacation time is not in dire need, because you're already going to be spending money. And I'm not a fan of going into debt. I've never paid interest on a credit card before. I do use credit cards, but I've never paid interest for one. And so you need to plan ahead so that you can save money so that you can pay yourself vacation. So I've had to do this numerous times for maternity leave, where I planned the weeks off, how much time I'm taking off, and then how much I make for that week, and the minimum. It doesn't need to be your gross or the max that you can make, just the minimum that you need to make, and start setting that aside as part of your planning so that you know you will be able to make your budget the week you're on vacation or whatever time off you have. So that's also part of planning the trip that needs to be considered. Okay, so the next thing. So my idea of vacation is laying by the pool, reading a book. Now, the weather was actually really nice in San Antonio because it was warm, but it was overcast. So you didn't have the blazing sun, but it was still warm enough to go swimming in the pool and different things like that. So this is my idea of vacation. My kids' idea of vacation is constantly moving and doing something. So vacation is not necessarily restful. Actually, we came back on Thursday because I wanted to give my husband and I a really long weekend to recover. And so we did spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as if we were still on vacation. So we did not cook all weekend, which was awesome. We still ate out. We still acted like we were on vacation. But because we were home, there wasn't an expectation of going out and doing something. The kids could start getting back into the routine and being around things that are familiar. And then we could still rest and recuperate because there was a lot of recuperation that needed to happen. Okay, so on the road, the older kids I wasn't really worried about. I knew that they could handle traveling for 13 hours. So the 5-year-old, the newly turned 5-year-old, and the 2-year-old were my bigger concerns. So the 5-year-old actually did really well. I was kind of surprised at how well he did. Let's get a drink of coffee. The 2-year-old, by hour 12, was finished. So from hour 12 to hour 13, it was total meltdown. First class ticket on the Hot Mess Express, and she was just done both ways. So, and I can understand. It was a long time being in the car. We did stop and we did take breaks, and our plan was when we were leaving, we were going to get up at 4 and leave by 4:30. So we left by 4:50, which, for 6 kids going on a road trip, that's pretty good. And with the hope that they would fall back to sleep. They did not go back to sleep at all. And so that was totally shot. That whole plan, we were going to get down the road, and get some good hours in before anyone was restless. Yeah, went out the window. So it was a lot of work to keep them entertained. This is everything that we did, that we bought and needed or bought along the road because we didn't have enough. Water was one. We should have brought more bottles of water. But anyway, so a Kindle. So we loaded up everyone's Kindle with movies and different things. So everyone had more than enough entertainment. We did bring lots of snacks. Everyone had their water bottles. We told them to fill them up ahead of time. And then especially for the three youngest ones, I got their backpacks and I put some things in there that I had gotten at the dollar store or some travel things from Amazon. And so for like my 8-year-old, there was a travel Minecraft game. He did say the instructions were too complicated, so I told him to make up his own game, and so he was happy with that. My 5-year-old loves like tanagrams, the blocks, with that you put the shapes and make different things. So they actually have magnet ones. So he was quite content to play with that for a while. And then for my daughter, there was this magnet cube that was different shapes, and you make it into different shapes. And I knew that it would keep her entertained. It also kept the rest of the kids entertained for the whole vacation, putting it back together. So it was magnets, and it was different, and you had different shapes, and it would you would turn it back into a cube. And so she called it her Rubik's Cube, and then the other kids were just obsessed with it. And then we hit the dollar store, got some coloring books, colors, and I bought them all Silly Putty. And I put it in their backpacks, and they didn't know it was in there. And so when they pulled it out, my 5-year-old told me, he's like, "This is amazing." So those were some of the sanity saving things. And I know all the advice is have lots of snacks and lots of things to do. And it's like, that's nice. And it works for a little while. But then after a while, you're just going to have to endure. And so that's just the truth. You're just going to have to deal with meltdowns. And yeah, we did make stops and different things, but she wanted to be out of the car. She was just done. And so you just have to endure. So when we finally got there, we settled in, it was time for our adventures. And so the first thing we did was Six Flags, and I did make them all these shirts because the last time we went to an amusement park, it was a bit more crowded, and I felt like I needed something to make them stand out so I could keep track of everybody. And so I did these shirts, and so my husband had one that said Dad on the back, and then I had one that said Mom, and then they all had their numbers. But Six Flags, this is the great thing about homeschooling is we could go in the middle of the school year. They still had 1 week left, but just with my husband's schedule, this is how it worked out. And so I told the kids, I was like, okay, we're going, but you still have to do a week of school when we get back. And, everyone was fine with that. So the fact that we could just pick up and go, and everything was empty. There were pretty much no lines for all the rides. Maybe you have to wait, 1 or 2 cycles to go through. But for the most part, there were no lines. They could hit the roller coasters. They could hit all the fun rides as many times as they want. So that was great. Then we did the river walk because, I've seen that enough. I wanted to do that. And that was okay. We did the Alamo. And then we went to the beach. And the beach, I think, was probably the highlight of the entire trip. It was just so much fun. And again, the water was warm enough. They could get into the water and swim and build sandcastles. And we did it all. And then we went to have seafood. And of course, we were on vacation. And so the kids are like, can we order lobster tail? We've never had it before. And so we're on vacation. We were like, go ahead. We got them fried alligator for an appetizer so they could try that out. So they just had tons of experiences and just tons of fun. So, and of course we're teaching mad skills. So now my little guy, my 8-year-old couldn't go on all of the rides the big kids wanted to go on. So for one of them, I took him into the arcade and was showing him how to do the claw machine and how to beat those blessed things. And they had one that had these Bob Ross dolls in it, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So we both won a Bob Ross stuffed animal, or stuffed doll, I guess. And, as like I am a fan of Bob Ross, his his shows can just, relax you and all that good stuff. And so, vacation is about teaching the mad skills. So I taught him how to do the claw machines. And then we learned some history when we went to the Alamo. And of course, building skills. We had to build sandcastles. So I actually went to the dollar store before we left, and I got all of the sandcastle stuff. So it was a lot of fun. So, and here's just a few more pictures. We went to the aquarium, walking along the beach. So you can see she's running, the koi pond. And so as I'm on the beach and we're enjoying the vacation, the chapter that I'm writing in the book right now is about work-life balance and, just trying to figure out how to do it. And so this actually has kind of inspired more of my chapter for that. So, but you'll have to wait for it to come out. Hopefully by the end of the year. And so vacation for me, like I've wanted to take them on an epic vacation for a long time now. I'm not saying, and we didn't go to Disney World because it was like $15,000 for all of us with food and lodging and all that kind of stuff. So, but I wanted to do something that would truly make memories for the kids. And the last time we did a road trip was when we moved to where we were. So that doesn't really count. And, we're missing 3 kids. We only had the oldest 3 at that time. And so we haven't really been on vacation since. And so just making memories and new experiences and trying things, like they will forever remember this vacation and remember it fondly. So, and I know sometimes like you're paying for curriculum, you're not working so that you can make millions of dollars or to be wealthy. And so sometimes, like as a work from home mom, things are tight and the budget is tight, especially as a homeschool mom, because curriculum is expensive. Like I'm going to have to pay for 5 kids this coming year. Like it ain't cheap. But try, even if it takes you, even if you're planning for 2 or 3 years, figure out what fits within your budget. Cause I'm not a fan of, I don't think you should break your budget for it, but what can you do to create some epic experiences that your kids are going to forever remember? And so we created some amazing memories. Like I would love to go back to Corpus Christi. It was just a beautiful beach town. And then we made it home. And so this is what she looked like when we got home. She just literally flopped on the floor and she was done. So it was a good vacation. They were happy to be home. And again, I would just encourage you, like, what can you do? Even if it's a staycation, like, what can you do where you are just to make kind of epic memories for your kids? So tell me in the comments below, like, what was the best vacation that you ever took your kids on? Because I need more ideas. Like, I am ready to plan our next one. So that is a wrap for this week. And I hope you enjoyed the show. And I hope you are inspired. That was my whole goal with this show, is to inspire you to make memories with your kids and to plan something epic to do with them. Again, it doesn't have to be expensive to be epic. So I am so glad you joined me today. Be sure to, follow on social media, listen to the podcast, and all of that good stuff, because I would love to connect with you. And if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know what they are. You can email me, send me a note, leave a comment below, whatever it is. I would love to help you get started on your momtrepreneur journey. So I will see you in the next episode.